Welcome back to the Little Hawk Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Rogers, and I'm here with
Rito Perez,
Jack Lampy,
Owen Rayfield.
And today we are joined by very special guest, soccer standout Oscar Gates.
Thank you.
And yeah, as you can see, first episode ever with video recording. We are very excited about this. Hopefully you guys enjoy seeing our beautiful faces.
yes, and seeing our magnificent setup, as you can see. This is what the Four Horsemen have been providing you with this amazing content this whole year. And shout out to Adobe Podcast for adding this wonderful feature.
Yes, of course. And Jack Lampy, do you want to give us today's outline for the podcast?
of course, my beautiful friend Jack Rogers. Today we will be starting off with covering a little bit of boys and girls track. The outdoor season has began. We will also touch on boys soccer, give some Final Four predictions, along with that devastating loss by the Hawks. And then we'll move on to Lisan Al Gaib.
There you go.
Rito.
That is the chosen one from Dune, which is Oscar's nickname since May of last year. I gave that to, I'd say me and Jack gave it to him. He may not know it's his nickname, but it is.
When he came back to watch a game.
Yes, and we touched him. We said touching soccer
And then-
phenom.
I remember that video.
Yeah.
That's when we
That's a
knew
good
that
one.
he was coming back.
That's we brought him back, and it's just nice to have an actual soccer player on the podcast for once, not like Jaden Lee,
Yeah,
like just an absolute scrub. But he had one goal all of last season after he's starting at striker, didn't have a goal. I mean, it's just kind of pathetic, Jaden.
He
You're gonna
also-
diss the podcast, I'm gonna
Yeah.
diss you.
You trashed the podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, to
So-
spin back a bit. When you touched Oscar Gates, do you think that was a good example of the Little Hawk touch?
That was the beginning. And
Yes.
Oscar, I don't want to bring it up too soon because I don't want to jinx anything, but I believe your luck will be turning around greatly after this podcast.
Yes, that's usually what happens to
Yes.
guests of the podcast.
yes.
They have remarkable careers
Yes.
and seasons.
Yeah.
Just their
following.
life as a whole just turns
Turns
go
better.
turns for the better.
You guys
after.
want to start with talking to Oscar? Or do you guys want to talk about our other stuff?
Let's
briefly?
just briefly touch
Okay.
on the other stuff.
Okay.
So just what happened with girls track?
The girls' track, Mr. Bacon said on the announcements they won at
Okay.
some point. Not sure which one, but they hosted a meet and they got fourth in that. It was the Sherwood Relays. I
Good
just
stuff.
know they won a meet. I
Okay.
heard about that.
What about boys track?
Boys track canceled meet today. They, I was listening to the last podcast with Mr. Bauman. Shout out, great filling in for me. And I think the latest update is that they got 19th. So that the 19th, it's not been great so far, but we'll get
Safe to say Ralphin doesn't equal success. Ralphin does not equal success.
Ralph.
They're having
So I did hear about Ralph, and that was
Do you know what ralphing means?
I have no idea.
Do you have like any sort of guess?
drug?
No, okay.
No.
But Matt Bauman, he came
Yeah.
on the pod and he was talking about how all the track runners were ralphing after practice, which was throwing up.
I knew what
okay,
it was before, but I forgot, and I was like, I thought they said they were Ralphing around. I thought they was talking about like they were like playing some games or something.
I don't know what
The way he used it was very strange.
it caught us
but
off
yeah.
guard. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie. But
I knew the word prior. He said it, and I was wondering why the Jacks were just losing their minds
no,
over it.
Oh, also, a quick shout out to City High Mock Trial.
Oh, yes.
Congrats, guys. Love to
going to
see.
nationals.
Yes, going to nationals. Congrats to our
I
little
heard
Hawk.
that they are pissed off because nationals is in Des Moines this year, and last year it was in New York.
Wow, why would nationals ever be in Des Moines? That is terrible.
What a jump! You
Wow.
go from New York to Des Moines.
Hold on, this
Tragic.
man has experienced some West Des Moines charm. I think Des Moines is a fantastic
Oh
city.
my
Valley
So
Glaze,
yeah.
Valley Glaze continues.
Yeah.
Moving on, I'll touch a little on girls soccer quick as my sister is on the team. They lost to Regina. Pitiful.
It just has to be. It
Yeah.
can't be losing to Regina. but-
Okay, but it's okay.
That
We're,
was-
we're a young team and we're learning, and they have a scrimmage against.
No,
I
they-
don't,
yeah.
is it
It said
Solon's
it's
a real game? Solon's a real game. Supposed to be today. I don't know what they're doing,
It's-
if they're canceling it or what. But
It's a rainy day today, but it's a scrimmage. You're practicing for a reason. They're still figuring some stuff out.
Yep.
Girls, I got full faith in you guys. Yeah, I
Yep.
think you guys got this.
so yep, much more to look forward to there. And then let's touch on just a little bit of March Madness quick. Obviously we're in the Final Four now. The Hawks lost. Very sad.
So
But,
sad.
Who do you have going to the chip? Let's just go around quick.
I'd like to say something extremely quickly about the Illinois team. They need to stop with the European. We need to investigate this because I was looking at the roster. I'm like, wow, they're all their last names end in Vitch, which I mean, it's fine, but like we need to figure out how to get some of these other European stars on some other Big Ten teams. Yeah.
I said this on the pod last week. Whoever won that game will be winning the championship. So Illinois will be your national champions.
I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be a UConn versus Arizona chip.
Yes, it
I'm
will be.
thinking, and I'm gonna stick with my original prediction for my bracket and go Arizona.
I'm going to follow up with Jack and say I did the exact same thing, despite how disastrous my bracket was this year. I will like to say that yes, Arizona is still going to win.
Yeah, I said that last week on the pod. Arizona winning. I'm going to stick with them. I think UConn will wipe the floor on Illinois. But that Michigan-Arizona game will be one for the ages. So it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar to Owen there. I think UConn will destroy Illinois, but I think Arizona Michigan is going to be a pretty much a toss up, and I think whoever wins the Michigan Arizona game is going to win it all.
Shout out the end of that Duke UConn game. That was
my.
sick.
That
If
was
you guys
crazy.
didn't watch, Duke was down or UConn was down the whole game until the last 8 seconds. Then Duke gets a little sloppy when they get a rebound, and they turn it over at half court with 5 seconds left. And what's the guy's name?
Boozer.
Well, Boozer did the turnover.
was the
first,
turnover.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
Boozer
then
did the
Mullins
Mullins
made the shot.
splashes a 3 from the logo pretty much, and that was just beautiful. So
It was
congrats
beautiful.
to UConn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the Hawks very briefly. Great season, hell of a run for the boys, and I think this sets up well for the future.
Yeah.
I was disappointed because it felt like we were there and we had a good opportunity to go to a Final Four, but all in all, pretty proud of how the Hawks showed up.
I'm going to make a prediction. You can come back to this podcast in 50 years' time. If McCollum stays in Iowa City, he will have a statue, and I will build it if I need to. So that is.
He did confirm he was coming back for next season.
And
So that's always a good
And
sign.
I don't know why he's not confirming he's coming back for a lifetime, but I'm just a little bit suspicious about this. but-
Born in Iowa City,
Yeah.
he must. I think this is his dream job.
Yeah, it is. No, you don't want to go to whatever. Where's
North Carolina.
Chapel
was
Hill?
one team.
What? No one wants to go there.
I think they just hired someone. Though.
Good.
So
That's
and
good.
Bill Self came back to Kansas, so
Mm.
all is well.
Okay.
But yeah, let's move on to some boys soccer as we have the expert here. So
We have Oscar. We started off 1-0, correct?
Yep, 1-0 against Samoa.
Yeah. Who scored that game? It was
Ollie Witt scored in
Ollie
the
Wood.
first half.
Okay. Very nice.
good.
So it was a
How would
low scoring game. Yeah.
Yeah, just it was a scrappy game.
Yeah,
I mean, it
yeah.
was not the prettiest game. Got a lot of stuff to work on. Obviously missing a couple guys right now with injury and failing. Great,
Yeah.
suspension.
We could say it.
two big players there. But I think they didn't beat Ottumwa last year, so
Yeah.
I mean it's a better start than last year for sure.
It's true. It is true. Wogdy is the first striker or attacker we're talking about. I think he has a sprained LCL. Is that right?
LCL.
Sprained LCL.
He should be
and-
back the 4th.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's pretty soon.
And Taylor, as we know, a star player, has some trouble in the classroom. He will be back for West Time. I'm just going to make an announcement now. Weeks in advance, we'll bring it up again in the next podcast. You will come. If you listen, you are coming to the West Tide game. This is the biggest game of our career. I needed to see a win. It's been,
I think, pushing 10 years.
is it
since-
crazy to say I care more about soccer, City High soccer beating West than City High football, and I was on the team? I think it's not crazy. All right, we're good with that.
I think,
No,
I think
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we are due for a win there.
Yeah.
It's been far too long.
Yeah.
About Wogdy's injury, I must say he almost took me out in the hallways the other day. He was getting dragged on a office chair, and he had his crutches sticking out, and almost swept me off my feet.
Okay. All right. So we have some makeshift wheelchair going on. City High soccer team looks like we're having quite the season. But should we ask?
I was just gonna say, what are gonna be the keys to improving, I guess, throughout this season, and what are gonna be the keys to success throughout the season?
For sure. I think, this team this year, including myself, pretty much all new, very few, starters from last year. So I think, as the season goes on, it's inevitable that everyone's going to gain experience, both, the old returning players like Seth, but also pretty much our rest of the starting lineup is all new. And so I think experience, as far as that goes, like once we gain more experience, we become more successful, and then really sticking together and, trusting Jose, trusting one another. I think, both of these are going to lead to, both success on and off the field for the team. And, I'm super excited for the season.
Is there going to be a game? Is there a game right now you're most looking forward to, or like a part of the season like you're really looking forward to Sub-State?
Yeah, no, I think the obvious answer is West.
Yeah.
I've heard the stories, that cursed Iowa field, but I don't believe it's cursed. I think this is the year for 100%. Yeah, then I think, the middle stretch of our season is going to be tough. We play some really good teams, Milwaukee, Northwest, Urbandale, and then West High. And so I think, that's middle stretch. I think we'll really have a chance to prove ourselves and, really figure out where we are as a team.
I just realized, I think we forgot to give Oscar his flowers. That he's the number 4 according to TikTok.
According to
account, the
TikTok.
number 4 ranked player in the state. So we did not give him his flowers.
The
there,
all
but
reliable.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
He is. We didn't mention how actually highly ranked Oscar was, but around top 5 in our hearts, number 1 in the state
Yeah, of course.
for boys soccer.
And
So,
I'm sorry to take us off topic. Just very briefly, also shout out to Will Fiegler being number 2 ranked tennis player in the state.
yes.
Their season has not started yet officially, I don't believe, or maybe it's today that it starts. But
I
yeah.
don't know, but yeah, he had a great season last year, and I think deserving ranking all in all.
Yeah.
But shall we go into some more questions for Oscar?
I think we shall. Oscar, of course, obviously this is your first season at City High.
Yep.
So has there been any difficulties for you with you're kind of being expected to lead right away, and this is a completely new team to you outside of that? Have there been any difficulties in the leading process or rallying the troops and making sure everyone's playing as one?
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously a lot of these guys I played with when I was younger before I left to Shattuck. So I think personally on a deeper level, I know a lot of the guys outside of the pitch. And so that makes it easier, when you know someone off the pitch, it makes it easier to lead and rally them. But I want to also give a shout out to Seth, Ben, and Taylor. I think, I'm not a captain of the team. Those 3 are the captains. I think they've done a great job leading so far this year. I've kind of, I wouldn't say I'm like the 4th captain, but I think I'm definitely kind of in that position to lead as well. But I do think that those 3 have done a great job leading so far. And, I think the team, as we're unified right now. We're sticking with one another and, we're trusting it. And I think trusting Jose, our coach, is another big thing that I think we're all doing right now, especially thanks to, the captains talking with Jose, assistant coach Jason talking with Jose. I think that's been great so far.
Great.
I know we're pretty early in the season, but what have you been enjoying the most so far in this early season? What's hanging out with the guys or at practice making jokes? What's most fun?
Yeah, I think really the most enjoyable thing for me is just, again, playing with the players I once played with when I was a little kid. I was at Jack. I played with you at ISC, and we played with all these guys. And I think coming home after you're not playing with them for 4 odd years, it's been such a great experience. Just Ben BG, one of my great friends, being able to play with him one more time before we graduate. And I think truly finding joy in the little moments of just being with these guys, my childhood buddies, has truly been the funnest part. And then obviously I think the soccer is also been super fun here. It's a little bit, it's different soccer than Shattuck was, and I think that it's been such a unique experience for me, and I think that's been so fun for sure.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we mentioned it, but Oscar was at a preparatory school in Minnesota for 4 years, and he used to live here before, so that's how we're good buds with him and whatnot. So.
Yeah. I got what was Shattuck's like? How often did you guys practice year round?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, year round we didn't ever have an off season. We probably in the winter we had a break from games, but we were still training 1 to 2 times a day with lifts and everything. Off season was actually almost busier because we're just grinding every day. But yeah, there's really the only true off season when we all came home. I came home to Iowa City, but I would still train on my own. But when we were at Shattuck, there was no off season at all.
And yeah, I mean that just seems like such a huge commitment. Soccer being such a big part of your life. No off season kind of takes me by surprise. But soccer being such a big piece of your life. What went into your decision to commit to Carleton?
Yeah, so I think, I don't know if you guys are going to touch on the recruiting process for college sports, but I think for soccer, my recruiting process was, it was crazy. It was a lot of ups and downs. The portal right now and, foreign guys coming in to play Division I college soccer, it's definitely it made an impact, where I went and where my teammates went at Shattuck. So I think for Carleton, what I really wanted to do from the beginning of my time was go to a really strong academic school, because I'm not going to play professional soccer. After my time in college, I'm gonna go get a job, and so I think setting myself up academically in the classroom is more important. I think in Carleton definitely offers that. I also had a chance to watch Carleton because they're pretty close to Shattuck, and I love how they play. I love the coach, I also love the MIAC, which is the conference they play in. And so I think like in terms of why I committed to Carleton over other schools that had offers from was because I really felt like it almost felt like home again to me. Shattuck obviously was a home away from home, and I think Carleton is similar to that. And I think I'm gonna have so much fun there. And then obviously on top of that, the academic piece is definitely important to me.
Carleton is a great school. I know Julius Perez himself visited there and was heavily considering it. So it's definitely a great school. And so I'm sure this is true, that there's a new scheme or something like a new play style at City High. How have you adapted to that?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, definitely obviously a new team impacts it, but, new head coach too, which is, ultimately the decision maker of the team. I think in terms of style of play, like, I think my skill set, like, I can adapt pretty well to most play styles. And so I think I haven't had too much trouble really adapting. I will say I am playing a new position. So at Shattuck, I played a deeper, six, like center defensive midfield role. I'm not sure how much you guys know about that, but but now I'm playing kind of higher up as a 10, as a playmaker, attacking mid. So I think like adjusting to that has been, it's been super fun to me. I'm getting forward more, and I think that it's definitely a new system and how I'm playing, but I think that, I've been able to adapt well, and, the team's been super supportive and helping me out, and Jose for sure.
Yeah. It's great. What has been your sorry, just kind of zoned out for a second there. Sorry. What's kind of your like number one goal before you began your college soccer career, I guess?
Yeah, I think, my high school career is going to end at City High. So I think that my big goal, one, is beating West. I think, it's a big goal around here. And I think beating West, hosting sub-state, and then going to state are my three big goals. And then eventually going on a run in state. But, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But those are my big goals, finish out with a couple like big wins down the stretch here. And, those are definitely my goals for the season. And then obviously enjoy the season and have so much fun and, enjoy it one last time.
As a player,
Mhm.
what do you think would be the best approach to a team that is parking the bus?
That is a good question.
We all know what happened to Ames last year.
The
We were all
cursed
there.
Ames game.
Jaden Lee, he says they scored a goal and then they
Parked
parked
the
the bus.
bus.
That's his biggest excuse on what happened in that game.
So,
So,
how would you get out of that? Yeah.
how'd you go about
So I think at Shattuck we actually faced quite a few teams who would park the bus, kind of like that, and they go 1-0 up and they park. We would park the bus as well. So I think, being able to park the bus, like knowing how to park the bus allows you to also, beating parking the bus. I think for teams that do park the bus against you is, being, I think, slowing down, being calm. And I think, sometimes when people think of they're parking the bus, we have to go, get as many chances as we can, just hammer them. I think if you slow down sometimes and you ping the ball around, move the ball around, you can it becomes easier to break them down. And then also really capitalizing on set pieces. When you do get a corner, like you can't park a bus on a corner, and they obviously last year team, they were, a great team. Jack Dancer, beast in the air. Also on the field, but definitely in the air too. And so like, I think capitalizing, obviously I know it's tough to do, but capitalizing on set pieces, because those are moments where teams really can't park the bus anymore. You're on the front foot, and then slowing down, I think moving the ball around, and then, trying to break them down with passing is really the other thing. How to beat parking the bus, parking the bus it's a tough thing to beat for sure.
So I know you picked up a hobby while at Shattuck that we've been enjoying recently. What's been your favorite part of that, I guess? And I guess it's like a break for you from soccer.
For sure. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of touch on a couple things here in terms of golf. That's what Jack's talking about. So I picked up golf this past summer, and I really picked up golf, like Jack said, just to get a break of soccer. And I think at Shattuck, one of the bigger things why I came home, it was because I burned out from soccer. My love for the game was, fading. It really felt like a job with just how tough practices were, how much we were practicing, like who we were facing. It was tough. And I think, golf, being able to step away from soccer and go to a sport that, I could, go and shoot 130, but have a great time. It's relieving, and it brought me a lot of, stress reliever. I had a ton of fun. I still do have a ton of fun on the course. And, I think like golf has just been kind of a side thing for me that has really just helped me, find love again with both like my life, but also with soccer, taking a break from soccer, not being, fully, go with soccer. I think that's helped so much. And, I enjoy it so much.
Yeah, that grind is tough.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
I've never done something to that extent like they're doing at Shattuck, but I know that when it's like basically your whole life, it can get really tiring really
sure,
quickly.
yeah.
And it just becomes, it does sometimes become more like a chore than like something you actually like enjoy doing.
For sure,
So
yeah.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah. I will say, yeah, Oscar's pretty addicted to golf, I think, right now. Yeah,
no, it's
There's a
it's
bug.
it
It's a
might be a
bug. It gets
problem.
ya.
It is a great sport,
Yeah.
fantastic sport.
It is.
And
It is.
it is kind of stress relieving as long as you don't take it too seriously. I know you don't
Yeah.
have that ability because
Yeah,
you're-
it's a little.
Yeah.
I get a little bit burnt out sometimes
Yeah.
from golf, so it's nice to just like play with some
Mm.
like my friends and just have a fun time.
Yeah.
Just
Shout out Jack Limpy and Jaden Lee.
Jaden Lee, the worst golfer on earth.
Hold on. Lucas Miller still does exist. So
no,
let's,
Jaden's
No,
worse.
no.
Jaden's worse.
Jaden Jaden cannot hit the ball. He can't even hit it.
Like,
Yeah, it
never
was
wow,
bad.
no.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's rough.
really bad.
We were on the second hole off the tee, and he dribbled into the water.
And then
I
5 feet off.
I appreciate Jack Rogers shouting me out last week that even though I was sick and I had to leave the game early, that was the best golf I had ever played in my entire life. I think it was it was a 3v1 scramble, but it was almost honestly a 1v1 outside of a few chips here and there. It was basically me and Jack, and I think if I was playing by myself, I would have hit a PR, a personal record. I think I would have shot 45 that day.
But you were poisoned.
I was
so.
poisoned. Jack Rogers knew I was coming for a spot, and he poisoned me. So
Of course, that's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
Going back to soccer though, real quick.
Right.
Last season, I mean, we just touched on parking the bus, and that was a big year to get it done. All the seniors, we had a stacked team. So, but now all the seniors gone. The team's full of a lot of younger guys, and you yourself being a senior, how you're gonna lead them and feel like they belong and just set this team to high standards this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's a tough question. I've never really been in this position, leading. I've never really played with anyone really younger than me, and so I think it's definitely a new experience. But I think we have. I mean, our team's great. Love the guys, and so I think just making it seem so that the guys can just trust the older players, and we start to trust them. And once we build this level of trust between us and the younger guys, I really like it. I think it helps. And at Shattuck, I'm gonna speak on it. When I played up a years, it was nerve wracking. It was one of the scariest things ever in my entire life. Because you don't want to mess up, and there's something said. But like I think creating an environment where the younger guys, they can mess up. You're here to get better. I think that trust that we can build and that we are building right now is going to be huge for later in the season when it comes to crunch time.
I have a quick improvised question. Who was the best player? I don't know if you know him by name. Who is the best player you played with or against at Shattuck's?
Yeah, so I think the best player I played against is this guy named Chase Adams. So Chase Adams, he played for Columbus Crew. Columbus Crew's MLS team, and he played for the academy. It was my freshman year there. I think he scored a brace. We lost 5-2 that game. I mean, there's Columbus Crew's amazing, but anyway, he's played for the U.S. National team, so he's played for U17s. He's now playing, I think, for the U20s, maybe U21s. I mean, he's going to go into the MLS. He's already signed a professional contract, I think, with the second team Crew. And I no doubt he's going to go on and play in the MLS. To be honest, and he was a beast.
There is no
What was specifically the best? Like, what was he just like? Oh, I guess all of
Insanely
it, but like
fast.
super fast.
So he was. I don't know if you
What
guys
position
know.
did he play?
So he was a striker. I don't know if you guys know Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
So he's basically I don't want to give maybe like 6'4", 6'5" and he's a huge striker. He's rapid though. He's almost he's like a mini Erling Haaland playing against he was like 6'5" when I was a freshman too.
against 15-year-old Oscar
Yeah,
Gates.
15-year-old scrawny
Yeah.
Oscar Gates, and it was a tough game. Dude. I mean, he's just a beast physically, and then he puts the ball in the back of the net for sure.
Yeah, they were playing big boy up there in Shattuck. They don't mess around.
Uh-huh.
There's no that's high level. So
I just have another question.
Mm-hmm.
What's your club? Is it still Man City. Were
Yep.
you a Man City?
Yeah,
fan?
my
I'm
God.
still Man City fan. So obviously I know
Man
Holland.
City. Then we know that
You know,
it's always Arsenal. Bro.
I'm
I
not
mean,
tapped in anymore,
I'm-
but I used to be a Man City.
I don't think I
fan.
can name one. Is Saka still in Arsenal?
Saka is
Okay,
still
then
there. They're
Saka.
gonna. This might be
Yeah.
the first year they win the league.
I
actually.
got a good feeling. I'm more of a Spain soccer guy, you know. You guys know me, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
As he just came back
Yes,
from Spain
yes.
because he went to a game.
Yes.
Who'd you see?
Betis.
Mm.
Viva Betis Manque Pierde.
Oh
God.
my
Yeah.
God,
That's what they say.
he's tapped in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're coming down to the end here. But just one more,
Mhm.
if you could go all the way back before you left for Shattuck,
Mhm.
what do you think you'd tell yourself at that point?
Yeah, I'd say a pretty cliche thing, but like trust the process. I think going to Shattuck, when I first left to go to Shattuck, my mindset in terms of what I wanted to do there, what I wanted to accomplish, where I wanted to play in college, like it shifted 100% throughout my time at Shattuck. And I think I got kind of hyper focused, and I said if I and I did trust the process, but I tell myself again, trust the process. Everything's gonna work out, and everything did work out. Obviously going to Carleton, but I think having that sense in the back of your mind that everything at Shattuck and wherever I went, it's gonna work out, and I think that it worked. That's probably one of the best things I can give myself. And then another thing, though, I think is, taking care of your both mental health, but also physically. I think that's a huge thing for athletes is sometimes it gets overlooked. I think, physically, your health and like taking care of your body is a huge thing in sports.
Definitely.
Great, yeah, we're obviously part of the Red Wave.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've tapped in, but
This will be Oscar's inaugural
Yes.
season with the Red Wave.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
it's an environment like
yes,
no other. I think should we make no. I can't
the boys soccer team is heavily supported amongst, especially the Four Horsemen, but others as well.
Amongst many, I'm very happy to see that it's grown because
Yeah, it is
I remember
growing.
last year we had quite a few people come out to the games.
But it was mostly seniors.
It was mostly seniors, so we need to get a few more people. I know.
Recruit.
I think Kale Molenberg said something to me about it. I've heard a few things. People coming, or Cal Viten said it too.
They were fair weather fans though.
They
I'm not
were.
gonna lie.
They were.
They only came to the games
Yeah.
at Iowa.
They
at
weren't
like the
Iowa City-
playoff
They
games.
weren't
the
coming
playoff
out.
games.
They weren't coming out to the Xaviers of the world when you're heckling dude that
And then
and
you
then
look
you
up
get
the
yelled at.
goalkeeper's name,
Yeah.
and then you're in his ear all game.
Yeah.
That's just what you gotta. That's what you got to deal with.
they didn't
with
create the
Red Wave.
chance. We just copied the chance, but we'll
Yes.
still take credit that we
Yeah.
created.
What do you
chance.
think of Liberty?
Yeah,
Don't say it,
Nope.
but
What do you think of
what do you think of Liberty?
fill in the blank.
Yes, yeah.
And
it's easy.
me and Jack, we went to the West Liberty scrimmage.
Yes, me and Owen
Uh,
heckling the goalie a little bit. Just
We-
gave him a taste.
yeah,
Didn't want to
of
get too
what's
deep
coming.
into
But
it.
the turnout was pretty good for a scrimmage. I thought the turnout was pretty
It's
impressive.
actually also freezing.
and it
that
was
game,
freezing too.
But
I love soccer. Oh
Yes.
my god, I'm
so excited for the season. Do you have any like pregame superstitions or meals you
Yeah.
eat before games?
Not really, no.
Not superstitious.
No, I'm not a superstitious guy. I don't think I have any, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Kind of just go
Just
out
kinda-
there and just
They
Yeah,
don't.
are we-
They don't do that BS.
I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
better to
they-
have no superstitions than like a little bit.
Yes.
I think that's better.
Still only Tiempo cleats.
Yep, still in. That's good. That's
No,
really
He
good.
actually never wore
Yeah,
any
only
other
Tiempo
cleats.
cleats. I only wore black and white though, and I have now finally ventured off to
Ventured off
pink.
to the-
Ooh,
Yeah,
pink.
those cleats are tough.
Yeah,
I was at the turf with Oscar the other day, and he actually made me run some suicides with him.
Yep.
but
Uh-huh.
Those
And Jaden
cleats
Lee.
were tough.
Yeah.
Jaden was baffled that day.
Good.
We had
You
a-
need it.
Because of Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor almost didn't play, but he's back.
He's here. So.
He's here. So,
yeah.
but
Oh,
yeah,
Taylor. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Oscar, for coming on the
Yeah,
podcast.
thank you
This
guys
is
for
an
having me. I
honor.
really appreciate it.
Good luck this season,
Thank you.
and I think go Little Hawks.
Thank you.
Yes.